Octorán Alscala, Muntori, Dalti, Gumorvor, Notishmahori, Brodul, Egmonin Shomra, Cogardicus, Eve Galair. Be smart. Call your mother once a week. Stretch. Live in the real world. Have outrageous fun. Be yourself. Be fearless, but be all in. I have been fortunate in my career to date to have been working or on work assignment in Edinburgh, New York, Chicago, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and many other financial services centres outside the People's Republic of Cork. And I have mixed it up with graduates from Oxford, Cambridge, the Sorbonne, Harvard, etc. And I can go into any of those meetings knowing that I have an education from a university of their equal measure. You today are graduates of a university within the top 2% in the world. The definition of education as referenced by the President in the dictionary is the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at a school or university. But education from this venerable institution is far more than a digestion of text and formulae. Being knowledgeable, being intelligent, and being smart are three different things. Being knowledgeable only involves yourself, whereas being smart takes work, takes engagement, and takes a network. Smart takes colouring outside the lines, studying themes and topics that are not your core disciplines. Being knowledgeable is to look at a tomato and know that it is a tomato. To be intelligent is to know that a tomato is a fruit, not a vegetable. To be smart is to not put that tomato in the fruit salad. As business and law graduates, you will need to embrace the principles of politics, diplomacy, history. In summary, a lifelong study of the humanities will enable your interactive skills and create sparks with people so that you may then drive your core discipline. But promise yourself one thing on that road, that you will never be the smartest person in the room. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. You will get nothing from that meeting. I left Cork on the 17th of May 1998 for London. I spent 26 years in Cork, attended college here and graduated as an accountant. It was a gamble to go away, but I couldn't turn down the opportunity to work for Goldman Sachs, then still a partnership bank. I spent the last night having a nostalgic meal with my parents. My mother gave me a brand new brown leather wallet with a £1 English note in it and a small card that said, "Please find this guy some friends." I recall most vividly saying on the night that I'm going to get found out here, big style. But I had reassurances from my family that I should go and do my best, be all in, and if it didn't work out, to come home with my head held high. But if you pay the entrance fee to the theme park, do you go and sit on the seesaw, or do you ride the roller coaster? I rode the roller coaster. It was fantastic. I learnt and met people that I never could have dreamed of or wished for when I was sitting in your seat today. I left London after 6 years, but 40 years wiser. What I accomplished in 6 years with Goldman Sachs would have taken me 12 years had I job hopped around from one employer to another. Sticking at anything in life has its highs and its lows. But even in those lows, sometimes they are higher than some of the highs in other places when you are job hopping. The single greatest decision in this country to enable financial services, the creation of the IFSC in Dublin, had worked for me. In 2004, I landed in Dublin's booming funds business, and there were new jobs and offers every week. My 6 years in Goldman Sachs was like holding Willy Wonka's golden ticket. Despite entreaties, I stuck with my employer for 4 years, as I had already observed that loyalty as an employee yields a dividend that silently accrues in the background. I only left because I could continue a trajectory in my career, but be based in Cork. So for 8 years I was based in Cork working with global teams. I describe it as my mortgage was in Cork and my career was where I woke up. That kind of opportunity wasn't there when I had my parchment in my hand in your seat. It is here now. The work that my collaborators, including Professor Hutchinson, have achieved to propel Cork to Ireland's second financial services centre is some of the work in my professional life that I continue to be most proud of. The internationally reputable names of financial services are here and more are coming. And when I look at my own role of having started a new business here 18 months ago, a lifetime ambition for me, when I look at the senior team right down to our recent hires, 2 of whom are in the room today and 1 of whom is in the room this afternoon, UCC is at the very core of our discipline, the very core of the qualifications that we have hired, at the very core of the excellence that we drive for our clients. As you set out on your path, know that you are not now, nor will you ever be, perfect. But that is actually Mother Nature's intention. Because if you were perfect, you would just stop. Stop to new experiences, stop to new people, stop to new challenges. Perfection, though it cannot be found in oneself, can, however, be found in teams. If you cannot achieve teamwork within your own personal skill set, then as a professional you will wither. If you are fortunate enough to choose team members or hire team members, hire people who don't think like you. Hire people who don't know things that you know. Hire men and women in equal proportion, remembering always that equality does not equal diversity. And when you achieve diversity, you still have another bit to go before you have true inclusion. The team in your personal life, as much as your professional life, is where you will have moments of fleeting perfection. It then perishes and you start the dance all over again. You will get frustrated, but strive for calmness. You can and will be disappointed, but try and look for the lesson. You can and must be ambitious, but you will have to strive for patience. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. Most oftentimes, you're behind because you think you're behind. But sometimes it's actually the exact spot where you are meant to be. The road is long. Sometimes it's fast and pacey, other times it's pothole ridden, but the road is long. And on that road, I have often consoled myself that it'll be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, it's not the end. Working in financial services, I spend most of my time helping clients with their best interest. And after 20 years, I can tell you the single best investment anyone can make, an investment that costs you nothing, an investment that will give you a dividend every year in perpetuity until you can no longer collect it, is to have good, basic and emphatic manners. Please, thank you, you're welcome. It sounds very obvious, but bad manners are isolating and good manners include you. Manners are the secret sauce of relationships that we all need to embrace. Be that distinction. To flourish your distinction, I would recommend you wear your heart on your sleeve. It will get bruised. It will get battered. It will absolutely be broken at least once. But to find true love, true friendship, true respect among peers, to gather people of value around you, you must be transparent. You must represent yourself honestly, with confidence and vulnerability in equal measure. You must represent yourself with empathy and passion, silence and noise in equal measure, with that arm of support and the loose rein of mentorship in equal measure. And lastly, if someone says to you, "How are you?" be positive in your response. Shatter the staple Irish response of, I'm not too bad. 3 negative words making up the entirety of your salutation. Marginally bettered by, I can't complain. I've been worse. A prior colleague of mine who was a compliance enforcer, not a job that one would naturally consider would have a buoyant person doing it. Her phrase when you ask her how she is I'm sparkling. It was brought home to me, this pet peeve recently, when I asked our facilities manager, how are you, Andrew? And he said, Owen, I'm excellent, super smashing great. Now, he actually wasn't that good. But we did leave each other with a smile on our face, which was kind of the point. A common phrase that you will hear is payback. Don't pay it back. It's nonsense. Pay it forward. At every opportunity that you have for a colleague, a family member, a friend, try and pay it forward. In my own very personal experience, I would say my network has done me a solid or given me an enablement years, sometimes even decades after I have helped them. Pay it forward and build that street cred of someone who is an enabler and not a leech. And just as you take care of the pennies, the pounds take care of themselves, if you take care of your character, your reputation will take care of itself. Working anonymously in corners that you can't even imagine and trumping any doubt or blame laid at you by a dishonourable competitor. Develop a thick skin. Largely speaking to date, you have been encouraged, mentored and coached with consideration by all of the people in this room. The cut and thrust of the real world in building a career and social structure will have moments where it's cruel, stressful, even lonely. Don't take it personally. Listen to the message and not the tone. And never sink to replicating the behaviour that has formed your thick skin. Be true to your character, bank your reputation accrual, be yourself, be fearless, and be all in. Sticking with body parts, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in proportion. Your body, your well-being, your mental health are the most important assets you will ever own. Respecting your body and understanding that talking about mental health is not a dirty or a shameful thing, the word mental now reflects thoughtful consideration versus the stigma or insulting nuance it used to carry. In executing that respect, realize that there is absolutely no excuse for not finding 40 minutes every day for exercise or stretching. Just as the flight attendant tells you to mind your own mask before you help others, so too must you take care of your own well-being and mental health before you can enable others. It is my honest opinion that while there is common awareness now of sugar consumption, 5 a day, intolerance of smoking, in 10 years' time, the buzzword that will roll off the tongue after 5 a day will be stretching. Nutrition is better, we are living longer, joints are replaced with titanium, but it's your muscles, your sinews, your tendons that actually need to work before the rest of your body can work. Yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates are all disciplines that we should embrace. Make yourself a promise that you will ring your mother once a week. Today marks a new stage in your relationship. You're independent, you're graduated, you'll go on to be financially independent. See a number of dads nodding to that one. You may emigrate, you may return. You may never sleep in your parents' house again. You may have your own house here or there. The whole world is before you. But if you think of the 24/7, 365 attention that you have got for the last 20 plus years, it's about 175,000 hours for a single parent that has gone into you. The least you can do is take 15 minutes to ring your mother once a week. And send your dad a text. And in that text, tell him one thing you have not told your mother so they can share it. Mums, when you get the call, please let dads have the phone for 2 minutes in the middle and not at the end. And dads, when you get the text, finish your text with thank you for your text. Because then they'll text next week. The robots are coming. My anticipation is that artificial intelligence and robot technology will replace many roles, will execute many tasks not done by people today. But no robot, no machine, and no artificial intelligence can replicate relationship skills, people management, or chart consensus in a conflict. Harder again to combine that with technical prowess. As you look out on the panorama of your career over the next 30 to 40 years, client and people skills are needed. Steeled with negotiation skills, softened with consensus skills, and wrapped in leadership skills is where you need to be. To survive the robots, you can start your training discipline today. You have a proliferation of technical tools and social media at your disposal. You can educate yourself, broaden your network, reach corners of the globe you just could not do with books. The tools of Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, and others all have an enabling use. But equally, they make you available 24/7, and arguably, you never truly connect. Live in the real world and talk to real people. Get away from the screens. There is a pub in Dingle, has a sign up behind the bar. Do not ask for the Wi-Fi password. Try an old tradition, talk to each other. The real world, real people, physical presence at gatherings, and human interaction in all of its powerful forms, from friendship to intimacy, is where real life resides. Research, study, and network in the virtual world, but live your life in the real world. And as you live that life, know that the friends that you have now may wander. You will retain some, and frankly, we males are worse at staying in touch. There is a lesson in that somewhere. But you will go on to make thousands of acquaintances, hundreds of colleagues, and dozens of friends. But try and stay in touch, try and maintain those relationships. And when you do that, ring your mother, tell her about it, and send your dad a text. Have fun. Life is about having fun and achieving. Have wild, unbridled fun. Life is short, and in most cultures, it's a one-time ride. Chunks of life will whistle by you, and you will wonder where it went. To wonder where it went is fine. To wonder what you did with it is unforgivable. Squeeze every last drop of excitement, learning, and experience out of everything you do professionally, personally, romantically. But in having that fun, make sure it's legal. Make sure it's moral. Make sure you preserve your dignity and that of others. If you have to deliberate on whether you're inside or outside the rules, you're already well outside the spirit of it. This is my guide to the road before you. Neither you or I will achieve all of this all at the same time. You will bob and weave through the different goals of your own personal catechism. All you can commit to is to have an overriding philosophy. I will leave you with the words of another that encapsulates mine. It took me time to find it, and it took me longer to live it. Take time to find yours. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us the most. We ask ourselves, who are we to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened or about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fears, our presence automatically liberates others. Be smart, call your mother once a week, stretch, live in the real world, have outrageous fun, be yourself, be fearless, but be all in. Thank you.